Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the laws of KASHRUS of Binyamin Forst. And he says here today, Hashimush betanor echad levasav olechalav. When you're using one oven to cook both meat and milk, as we began speaking about yesterday. Now, if a person could, if you have the funds and you have the room and the space in your kitchen, certainly if you could have one oven for the Fleishigs and one oven for the Milchigs, that would be the best. You'll alleviate any of the issues that we're going to discuss. But in case that is not an option, and therefore you have only one oven in the house, and this is how a person can cook both Fleishigs and Milchigs utilizing only one oven. Lechein haderech hamuvchar is the best way to do things. And here he is quoting the Igris Moshe, which is Rav Moshe Feinstein. If someone only has one oven, and he has no choice, he's got to cook his Shabbos meal in there, and on Tuesday nights, which is pizza night or spaghetti night, he has to make his milchigs in there as well. First of all, he should designate the oven to be either meat or it should be dairy. It's one or the other. And you should make it you should designate it either for the milchigs or the fleishigs based upon what's the majority of the things that you're cooking inside of there that have noizel, that have this vapor, and it has the juice that is in there that will go up and touch the roof of the oven, as we mentioned yesterday, bli michsa, when you're cooking it without any covering. So if, in general, you're cooking fleishigs in that way, then you should make it a meat oven. If you're more of a milchig family and you're cooking a lot of things like that in the oven milchigs, then you should make it into a milchig oven. Im hechlid derech mashal. Let's say, for example, you decide shatanoye basar. This is a fleishig oven. It's designated as a meaty oven. You're allowed to cook any kind of fleishigs in there that you want, even if it has the vapors that will go up, even without a covering. However, when it comes to now cooking milchigs in that oven, you're not allowed to cook anything that is vaporous, that has the zayah, has the sweat, unless it is covered. You can't use the fleishig oven for milchigs that are going to give off the sweat unless there's a covering on those pans. Rak im michsa. However, when it comes to dry dairy products, she'ena malim edim, which don't give off the zayah, they don't give off the sweat and the liquidy after the liquidy stuff afterwards. Then you could bake those things without covering as long as you cleaned out the oven very well beforehand, and you can see that there's no residue, there's no fats, there's no fattiness of the meat that is to the naked eye, that you can't see any of that. So again, you have an oven that is fleishig. It's being used primarily for fleishig. Now you want to cook something that's milchig, and the milchig thing that you want to cook is going to be dry, which means there's not going to be steam and the like. So as long as you see that the oven is cooked, as long as the oven is cleaned very well, you can do that. Now if you designated the oven to be a dairy or milk oven, so then the halacha is the opposite way. It's understood. If you are So when it comes to baking, for example, things that are dried, you can do that with either milk or meat in the oven, and you can even do it one after the other, says Rav Forst, as long as you're not cooking it together at the same exact time in the oven. And of course, you have to clean out the oven between one and the other. Eitzah Taiva, I want to give you a good piece of advice, he says. If you are cooking meat and then milk in an oven, one after the other, you should really put a sheet of aluminum, of aluminum foil underneath the pan that you are cooking in. Shim yetavteich min hamaycha, because if a little bit of the food drips out, yekala asar niyar v'atano yishar naki, so you'll be able it'll fall onto the tin foil, and then you'll remove the tin foil from the oven, and the oven remains clean. So he's just giving you a practical advice over here. If you need to use your oven on a more of a regular basis for both milk and for meat, you should be in the habit of always putting down a piece of aluminum foil underneath the pan or the pot that you are cooking either the Fleishig or the Milchig in, and that way, if anything bubbles over, if anything falls off, so it's always going to get caught by the aluminum foil, and it won't stick to the walls of the oven. It'll be much easier for you to clean between one cooking, one baking, and the other. Have a wonderful day.